Shalom, Kahalal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them, that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yeshua. I'm back with another World War III update. And I saw something yesterday that was very important as to what is going on in the Eastern Europe war, if you will. All right, and so we'll just start right here, like I have been, and probably will in the future. All right, this is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right? All these are the beginnings of sorrow. Now, this nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom, is the Ukraine a different kingdom from Russia, or are they the same kingdom? Are they the same nation of people? Right? Well, they're Edomites, yeah, or maybe not. Let's get into this speckled bird real quick. Let's go to scattered. James 1. Right? James 1 and 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. What does that mean? Okay. What does it mean, the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad? All right. Well, the 12 tribes of Israel, your lineage, okay, your bloodline, all right, will be found in every nation on the earth. Okay. So where it is that the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans here in North America make up the bulk of the 12 tribes, right? In China, you have a group of people that look like the Chinese. That all the Chinese, they pick on these people, they relegate them to the worst part of China, and those people are catching hell, right? They're murdering them. They live in the worst places. They can't, basically they're under the curses. Same thing in Australia. There's a group of people that all the Australians look down on, make fun of, call names. Those are Israelites looking like the Australian, whatever an Australian looks like. Same thing in Japan. There's a group of so-called Japanese that their lineage actually goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Everywhere in every nation. Okay? For example, in India, right? In East India over there. Okay? They have a caste system, and at the bottom of that caste system are the ones that they call the untouchables. All right? And they get treated the worst, even though they're supposed to be Indians. But see, what do the kings and the rulers of India, what do they know about the untouchables? They know that their lineage, the untouchables, goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel, which are scattered abroad. Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. So this is what this is saying. All right. This is a dark saying. All right. So in Russia, okay, you got some people whose lineage actually goes back to the 12 tribes. And this is, I'm speculating when I go into this, but this video I'm about to show you goes into some things that aren't being mentioned in the war, all right? And it goes into chemical warfare. It goes into race-specific chemical warfare, all right? Now, what do we know about the scriptures? This is what we know about the scriptures, all right? And you know what? I can get this when we come back, but I'll bring this out right now. PSA, Psalm 83. Here's what's actually going on from the top. Bear with me. This is Psalm 83. All right. And 1, keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies, God has enemies, make a tumult, and they that hate thee, what? God's enemies, they hate him, have lifted up their head. Some proud people out there. Who are those proud people? We're going to name them. We're going to go into their names, their ancient names. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. So these God's enemies, here they are, have taken crafty counsel against God's people. Who are God's people? Israel. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They're hidden. Okay. Like I said a minute ago, the rulers of India, they know who those untouchables are. They're called untouchables. They're not calling them the children of Israel. They're calling them untouchables, niggers, spicks, spooks, jungle bunnies. All right, whatever. I saw a movie the other day. What they call them? Wealthy, meaning you're on welfare. They got all sorts of little names to hide who they really are. Thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. Then it goes into the names. Okay, now we know there's a bunch of Edomites over there. So who are the Edomites? What are they doing? They're trying to cut off the nation of Israel. All right? So when you see white on white crime, which is what this is, okay, chances are just because they look white doesn't mean that their lineage goes back to the same person, if you will. All right? You could stand an Edomite, right, who has white skin or whatever, red skin, and an Israelite who looks just like that Edomite. They're two different people. They look alike. You can get a Palestinian or an African or a Tyree, an African, right? And stand them right next to an Israelite. They look exactly the same, but they're two different people. Right? Those Africans hate Israelites. Well, your own people sold you into slavery. No, that's not how it went down. It's deeper than that, idiot. Okay? So what are we seeing over here? and I'm speculating, but when they say that the Nazis are over there and they're building uh, smallpox blankets, if you will, or uh, Tuskegee type, gain of function type uh, weapons. What were the smallpox blankets? They were a weapon. All right, so let's watch this and listen closely to what he's saying. Because they get into, well, actually, what they're doing is they're trying to kill a specific kind of Russian, if you will, with these uh, weapons that they're making in these labs. And these weapons, what were they doing in Wuhan, China? What were they doing? Who was there? Was not Fauci there? They admitted to gain of function uh, testing and that whole thing. Well, do you think that China is the only place where they're doing this? Did we just not get out of, or it's still going on? They just kind of downplayed it. What's going on? This is what's going on. Listen closely to this. Probably won't play it all, but it's Regis Tremblay. All right. And this guy has a history that goes back to some laws that were passed that you can't do this kind of behavior, and they've never stopped. Okay? Who is Vladimir is saying this word? He said we had to stop these people, right? And when you go back to it, the Soviet Union, apparently, and see, this goes back into Project Paperclip, if you understand what that is, where they divided up the scientists. Okay, look, thousands of scientists. What is Project Paperclip? All right. What was about? They divided up the scientists, took them back to Russia and America to do what? What were they doing? Well, this guy's going to break it all the way down. Let's see how much of it we can watch. And hopefully I don't get in trouble for this.
Well, conversations. The topic these days is Ukraine. My guest has been on the show before. He's got some incredibly important videos we've done with tens of thousands of views. Francis Boyle. He teaches international law at the University of Illinois. Francis, welcome back to the show.
Well, Regis, thank you for having me on my best to your viewing audience.
Well, you know, in this part of the world, everything is about Ukraine, and but we're going to talk about just one thing that you're an expert on. It was revealed in the last couple of days that the Russians had discovered and captured some documentation in biological labs. Now, Francis, I know you know about this. I've seen a map that showed maybe a dozen of these labs in Ukraine. What can you tell me about the legitimacy of these claims that the Russians have captured some of these and have documentation proving that the United States is involved?
Well, Regis, let me first start by explaining my background here. In 1985, at a congressional briefing on Capitol Hill, I called for implementing legislation for the Biological Weapons Convention for the United States in order to counteract the Reagan administration and their neoconservatives abusing DNA genetic engineering.
Listen close. okay? Because the scriptures tell you what's actually going on. Now, it says this: God's enemies are confederate against his people. So when it appears that white people are trying to kill white people, it's got to be deeper than that. Either that is a false flag because the real target is the children of Israel, or those other white people that are the target are actually Israelites. All right? Listen close.
For the purpose of research, developing, and stockpiling biological weapons. That's how long the United States government has been involved in this. And
Actually, I'm gonna play that again, but they've been involved in this longer because it all goes back to World War II in Nazi Germany, Project Paperclip, where they divided up those Nazi scientists and brought half of them back to America and half of them back to the USSR at the time to continue what they were doing. So it goes all the way back to World War II. Listen again.
a congressional briefing on Capitol Hill, I called for implementing legislation for the Biological Weapons Convention for the United States in order to counteract the Reagan administration and their neoconservatives abusing DNA genetic engineering for the purpose of research, developing, and stockpiling biological weapons. That's how long the United States government has been involved in this. And my plea then led for me to draft that U.S. domestic implementing legislation known as the Biological Weapons Anti-Terrorism Act of 1989, that's still on the books today, and was approved unanimously by both houses of the United States Congress and signed into law by President George Bush Sr. I'm a political independent, with the approval of the United States Department of Justice. Now, that's how long I have been opposing United States biological warfare programs, and my legislation provides for, life imprisonment for all U.S. nationals and residents involved in research, development, testing, etc., of biological weapons.
That would be Dr. Fauci.
With DNA, genetic engineering, synthetic biology, gain of function, or any other mechanism or device. Based on my staying on top of this field since about 1983 or so, it does seem to me that these allegations by the Russian government are credible, yes. And my assessment of these U.S. biowarfare labs in Ukraine and also surrounding Russia, if you take a look at the map, they are all offensive biological warfare weapons facilities that were being designed at some point for use against Russia. Yes.
Okay, they're going to get more specific. So the Ukraine and NATO and whoever else is involved with assisting the Ukrainians basically is bringing smallpox blankets in, if you understand what I mean. Listen further.
That's my conclusion.
I have heard that the United States funding and organizing these labs have also been connecting Russian DNA.
Boom. Why? Are they not the same people? They appear to be. Why are those people? Okay. Now, all you got to do is go back to World War II. What was going on in World War II? Genocide of a specific people, so they say. Right? I mean, I won't get into specifics, but isn't that what it was about? So when you see this word right here, okay, and what he just said, let me back that up. Or is it 416? Let me back it up to 410. Listen to what he says, race specific. Okay.
Heard that the United States funding and organizing these labs have also been connecting Russian DNA. Is that a fact? Do you know about that?
Yes, of course, Regis. I've given interviews to Russian media on these circumstances. Yes, and they've only been broadcast over there in Russia on TV and documentaries. But yes, they were harvesting Russian DNA for the purpose of manufacturing an ethnic specific biological warfare weapon against ethnic Russians. Correct.
Is that enough? Is that enough? You could go back and watch this whole thing. It's 19 minutes. All right, but that should be enough right there. All right. Now let's go back here. Here's the plan. Here's the conspiracy. Okay. Let's get that word conspiracy out of here. Let's go to NLT. Okay. Psalm 83 and 2. Don't you hear the uproar of your enemies? Don't you see that your arrogant enemies are rising up? They devise crafty schemes against your people. They conspiracy against your precious ones. Come, they say, let us wipe out Israel as a nation. It's a lot of Jakes. Okay, first of all, you got Jakes in every nation. In the Philippines, the Negritos. Okay, we can't forget that. All right, so when you see these things, all right, why are they doing DNA testing? Because they know what kind of DNA you Jake's got. They know how to get in there and say, uh-oh, this guy goes back to, you understand? Yes, this was their unanimous decision. They signed a treaty as allies against you. Who? So-called white men, Edomites. Ishmaelites, those are the Arabs. Moabites, those are the Chinese. Hagarites, those are Hamites. Okay? Japanese. There's your boy Amalek. All right? Palestinians. More Africans. Get it? That's what's going on over there. What's going on over there? This. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Here's what they're up to. All right? Here's what they're up to. And they're up to this in every nation. Okay? You think these devils don't know what they're doing? They're just, oh, we're going to go after these people because we don't like them. No. What does the Bible say? Okay? We see what is up. So anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. This is part of World War III. All right, what was World War II about? What was it about? Adolf Schicklgruber was doing what? Was he not trying to exterminate, so they say, a certain race that happens to be our true nationality? Put it together. Put it together. Come on now. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect were edified. And with that, we're going to say shalom.